Welcome back to EarthX 2025. I'm Lawrence Ford here with the Conscious Capital Foundation, and a really special treat because my dear friend Sara Minkara is here.
Oh,
And I just am so delighted to have you here. I'm going to talk for a minute. This is not normally what we do, but I feel inspired. First time I saw you was just before COVID broke
that's so
out.
true.
Remember that?
Yeah.
We were at Nexus
Yep.
Global Conference, and you spoke there. And your
Did I speak
presence.
there?
Yeah, you did. Yeah. You said something good too, but somebody asked me what it was.
I don't remember.
It was good.
But I remember the pin.
Yeah. Yeah, and I gave you my my sustainable development pin.
Yeah.
So you are one of my favorite humans in the world.
Thank you, Lauren.
You really are. Your spirit, your energy, your leadership in the world, and I feel in so many ways that, first of all, I'm really, really blessed to have you be my friend.
Thank you.
And also excited about what the future is going to be and how we can help support you in the world as you go out there and touch so many more.
Thank you.
Okay, so
can I also say, I just want to say, like, I'm just so excited we're doing this. I'm so excited that we're here together. I'm so thrilled to be also a friend like Ken and I, and I'm just so grateful you're also giving us the space to share more of our story and who we are. It's amazing that you create that space for authentic voices to exist. So thank you.
Thank you. So let's start.
Okay.
I know where we start.
Okay. Where?
So I usually go through an arc of 3 questions. Take notes.
Okay.
First one is, why are you here?
Okay.
And of course, you know me well enough to know what I mean by that, like on Earth.
Yes, yep.
I like in this room here at EarthX.
Yep.
The second one is, what are you doing with that essence in the world, and how are you manifesting that out there in the world so our listeners can connect with your work and be able to engage as they're inspired. And then, with you, it's so obvious because you do it in so many ways, but then how is that making the world a better place? And how is it improving the world?
Yeah.
So let's start at the beginning.
Yeah. Why am I here?
Why are you here?
I mean, it's...
And happy Earth Day, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Happy Earth Day. That's why I'm wearing green. I guess. I don't know.
Hold on. Oh, not even on socks. Ooh, I'm bad today.
You don't have green on you?
I have nothing. Oh, dear.
I'll pretend you're wearing green.
So I have my little bracelet here. Here, right on this side here. It's my little bracelet, which I wear every year.
Does it have green on it?
Yeah, it's a braid. It's got green on it, so I'm
safe.
Look
at that. Very good. Okay.
Okay. Good. Got it.
You represent the Earth. So why am I here? And I mean, it's such a powerful question, and for me, it really stems from, my life experience as a person with a disability. My sister and I both became blind at age 7, and I think that really shaped.
Whoa.
Yeah, my sister's also blind.
At the same time, pretty much.
So my sister at 7, 2 years later, when I became 7.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you're not twins. I got it. Okay.
No.
So both at the same age.
Both at the same age.
And your sister's older or younger?
Older.
So you experienced her going blind first?
Yes. I was youngish, so not to really fully, but yes,
Yeah.
she was first. She kind of paved the path in many ways. Then I came. Then my brother, who's 4 years younger, is not blind, so he's kind of marginalized in that sense. Because 2 blind, 1-sighted.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that really shaped a lot of our path, my purpose in many ways. My parents really focused on not allowing society's narratives and expectations or lack thereof when it comes to disability to enter the home, because to be honest, what's the narrative around disability in our society? It's you're incapable, you're less than, be ashamed of who you are, all that kind of stuff, right? That never really entered our household. My mom said, okay, what are the obstacles? We're going to deal with these obstacles. You're going to continue going to the public school system. You're going to continue having ambitions and dreams. I don't want to hear the word, I can't do this. And she really focused on that narrative.
Wow.
You're going to have ambitions and dreams.
What a blessing, huh?
That in itself is a blessing. That in itself, unfortunately, is not the reality for most kids with disabilities across the globe. And because of that, society is losing out on their value, their potential, and what they can bring forward to the world, it's a loss on society. So why am I here? I think we need to really disrupt that reality, disrupt that narrative, and get the world to understand it and believe that the 15% of the world's population, the 16% actually, of people with disabilities have the right not only to exist and contribute, but we need to be seen, heard, and valued.
Gorgeous. And as you know, Sara, because we know each other so well, and you know the work we're doing at the foundation is really about, we believe that when people are living their purpose, they have inner peace. And the more of us do it, we move towards world peace. And although we can be pretty messed up creatures sometimes, when we're on purpose, boy, we are magical.
Totally.
Have genius and have all the solutions in the world we need because we're manifesting our own gifts in our own way, regardless of our, country, culture, color, language, religion, abled, disabled. Everybody's got gifts to give, and that's part of the whole nature of the world, which is so interesting because, when you tell me your story about that, you were so blessed to have a mom that way. And you're saying like there's so many others that don't. And boy, do you have to probably have like 10 times that energy in the home to overcome the prejudice right outside in the culture. And you're such a perfect, beautiful example of that in the world because, of course, I know you don't see with your eyes, but I know it's like I like it's really hard for me to think of you as disabled. I might get there someday, but I'm not there yet. I always tell you that. It's like the stuff you get done in the world is beyond what most people even think of. Which let's tell us what you just came off of the last administration, because I want our viewers to get a flavor, and then we can back up a little bit into more stuff. But tell everybody what you did, because I remember that. Okay, so I remember we were talking on the phone, and it was just like coming down. The possibility. We had this beautiful conversation.
I remember that.
And I was thinking, oh my God, I can't imagine a better person in the world to go ahead. Tell people what you were doing, please.
So I was the U.S. Special Advisor on International Disability Rights under the Biden administration, where I led our U.S. government foreign policy on disability. So traveled the world with my team, including Hannah.
And Hannah's over there just off camera, and she's equally as amazing, by the way.
Yes. And we visited 50 countries in the past 3 years, and where we
50 countries in the last.
And that's not counting, we've done countries multiple times, but it was more than that. So, and we focus on advancing disability policy across all spaces, whether we're talking about investment, recovery, reconstruction, climate solutions, the whole 9 yards. And unfortunately, we see how there's a huge still gap, because in high level society still sees disability from they don't see it as an issue. They might see it as a charity case. At best, they see it as a social protection lens. We're not.
Okay, let's get to the last one. So I'm with the first two. It's either, say it again.
We're invisible.
Yeah. So it's like out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, we don't exist.
Put all that stuff in a corner. We don't want to look at it, kind of thing.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
People don't realize that we're 16% of the world's population. They just
16%.
They just can't believe that, which we are. Then we might be seen as a charity pity lens. We're a charity case.
Yeah.
At best, we're seen as a social protection lens.
That's the part I wasn't. What is that?
So we're very much pigeonholed within the Ministry of Social Affairs, Labor, Education, and Health. We're seen as a social issue. We're seen as, we need to take care of you. We need to, and I say, listen, yes, I need to be taken care of like any other humans, right? Provide me my service like any other humans, but I want you to break down barriers in the society, in the system, and don't see it as a favor. See it as actually the right thing to do, so I can contribute into the economy, because you know what? You're losing out on 7% of the GDP by not including us into your economy. So we would talk to digital ministers and say, are you thinking about accessibility and disability into your framework? We would talk to Minister of Tourism. We would talk to Minister of Investment and Trade. And in most of these ministers, they said, in my 30 years, I've never thought about this topic.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
So you got, yeah, because you were like knocking on doors and waking people up, 50 countries over 3 years. I love that.
And to be honest, like in the beginning, that our embassies would want, when they organize our trips, they would want us to meet with the Minister of Social, Labor, Education, and Health, and we say, no, we want to meet with these ministries,
nice.
trade, investment, tourism, and so that was also part of the work, is how do we get all levels of our engagements to see disability as beyond a social issue.
That's awesome. Yeah, we talk in my new book, and also in our foundation, talk about GDP to GD purpose.
Oh, I like that.
Isn't that good, huh?
I like that.
GDP to GD purpose, right? Where we get to, magnify our own gifts, not because it's a cute thing to do or a nice thing to do. It's because we all have gifts, and those, when we drive forward from seeing each other as special gifts, and how can I help you live that gift, then we all thrive.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I love that. But society's still focusing, and I remember this conversation with a leader of our country where he literally turns to me, so he says, Sara, my dream is for you not to be blind someday. I want to find a cure for your blindness. And I turned to him, I was like, why is that your effort and your focus? My dream is for you to create a world where I, as a blind person, and people with disabilities can exist with no barriers. That should be the fix the system. Don't fix me as a person. Why are we seeing disability as something negative? Disability for me is disability. I just have a disability. I cannot see. I can't see. That's it. Don't assume what I can or cannot do. So these are the conversations that are important to have.
Wow. Tell me some stories. Like, 50 countries, 3 years. Holy cow. I just want to hear some stories.
I mean, it was...
First of all, did everybody pretty much fall into one of those 3 boxes? Like, give or take?
For the most part, I think, in a lot of spaces, it was a lot of talking to leaders that have not been thinking about disability through the economic lens. Or you're talking...
So you were in the right place, because that you okay, so I'm going to interrupt you New York style.
Yes,
here we go.
Yes, tell me.
So when you had to frame who you were going to see, that was probably the most important decision that you made, and you were probably ruffling some feathers, and people hadn't thought that way. Can you take us
even
through that
within
first?
our systems?
I'll bet.
It was...
That's brilliant, by the way, because it would have been so easy to follow convention and then try to change the people that are already caught up into those boxes of which departments they reigned over, right? So take me through that first.
So when we would choose to go to any trip, any country and do a trip, our embassies are the ones who help, draft up the schedule, organize the meetings, and always the initial schedule would be meet with the disability organizations, meet with these ministries of social, labor, health, and education, and here you are. And we would go back and say, yes, I definitely want to meet with the organization of persons with disabilities, because I want to hear what's the reality on the ground and what are the gaps and how can we advance their issues. But I also want to meet with civil society and organizations that are not thinking about disability. So climate organizations, women organizations, pro-democracy organizations. Those organizations that are not thinking about disability, I want to meet with them. I want to meet with ministries of digital inclusion, AI, investment, trade, tourism. These ministries are not thinking about that. I want to meet with companies. And please don't just give me companies so we can talk about inclusive employment. I want to talk about companies, and are they talking about their products and services and policies that are disability inclusive? I want to meet with media and entertainment. People like entertainment. What do you mean by entertainment? Well, entertainment is where a lot of disability narrative is perpetuated, right? So we would go back and say, these are the different sectors we want to meet with. We're going to expand those sectors. So then our embassies, to be honest, it was a back and forth a lot of times, but by the end of the 3 years, we actually developed a playbook for our embassies.
So you left with your legacy, and I know you're humble, so you won't say this, I'll say it, but like with a legacy of really a whole new structure of how that... Okay, not. It's,
well,
we're talking administrations
off the record,
and
yes.
Okay.
But we did leave.
How'd you like the chocolate?
But we did leave. It was so beautiful. The chocolate was so delicious.
That was off camera.
But we did leave with a playbook that we did give embassies, and that's up to the embassies how we launched the playbook, and it's a pretty comprehensive playbook that shows how disability is cross-cutting. That is one of our legacies. I hope whether it's the individual, whether it's the embassies, ambassadors, whatever it is, that they carry that work forward.
Well, I think the genius in what you've done is not, assuming that people are thinking rationally, which often they don't. But the language of money talks, incentives, right? Totally. So when you frame it as an advantage, right, then every language, whether it's Republican or Democrat or any country, understands that language of money. And that probably is the thread that whoever opens up that playbook would be able to see.
So true, because to be honest, Lawrence, people are not thinking about it from the lens. Like, I remember a meeting with one of the country's digital minister, and he's like, "Oh, well, do you mean we need to train people with disabilities to use technology?" I was like, "No, that's not. Maybe that's one small slice, but the question is your digital infrastructure accessible? Because if that's not accessible, we're not going to be able to access it, which means we're not going to be able to contribute, which means you're losing out on a market, which means," and I explained the ripple effects, which means then we do become a burden on society, which means then we do need social safety network, which
then translates into real dollars. Exactly. Right? And here it is.
Exactly.
So what are you going to do about it?
And why don't we see people with disabilities as actually innovators, as part of the solution of the future?
Yeah, that's what blows my mind.
And problem solvers. Why?
Because we've talked about this a bunch. I just think there's like so much potential.
I agree.
I mean, and I'm just, and that's, I think, why we care about each other so much. I'm very straightforward. Yeah. I always, when I look at, I'm going to give a big extreme here to try to make my point to the listeners. When you go into a, let's say, like a really wealthy neighborhood in the United States, and the kids get everything they want, and they're spoiled kids, right? Let's just say they're not necessarily the best workers in the system typically, right? Because they've been given everything and they don't have to work for everything. As opposed to someone who worked hard to come, as an example, to America, right? And they earned their way to come to this country, and they scrapped it out. Somehow their parents sacrificed everything they could. They went to college, they appreciated the education. And now, guess what? I mean, it's fundamental. Those are some of the best employees in the world if you can align them with their purpose, because they care. So I always have thought forever, this has been through my being, it's just seems so clear. Why can't people see that? Because I feel like, and you tell me if I'm off here, but I feel like that would be people with disabilities, because they've had to earn in different ways than other people haven't. And if they get the opportunity, I would put any money on it that they would be so much better than somebody else who's got all spoiled. Am I right or no?
It's so true. And there's two sides to this. On one side, to your point, like you said, our whole life we're always dealing and finding problem solving around obstacles that we face, which means that we become more innovative, better at problem solving, more resilient, more whatever, and we do end up becoming better employees because of those things. On the other hand, but then companies, they're always afraid of, oh my God, like, how am I gonna make my workplace accessible? I'm gonna provide reasonable accommodations.
Well, because it doesn't fit. They're not thinking that way.
Exactly.
Right? They're just not thinking the way that we're talking about. They're missing a resource that could launch you.
Exactly. And I wish companies would say, let me partner up with an employee with a disability. Let me break down those barriers. Let me see what barriers they have. Let me break those down so they can actually thrive and contribute. And I'm going to be benefiting from them more than I can ever imagine. Exactly. We don't see it from balance.
Well, let's change this. Come on.
What are you doing?
Come on.
Exactly.
Let's go.
But on the reasonable accommodation side, and this is something we all face this as employees with disabilities, and people are shocked. They're like, well, there's laws that protect that. That's true, but people use the word reasonable accommodations.
What does that even mean?
Like, it's the whole concept of compliance. Companies will have to provide whatever is reasonable to provide. Hannah, how do you explain that?
Yeah, it sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Listen, it sounds awful. It's like, okay, so someone can't see, let's make sure they don't trip.
Exactly.
Is that kind of what we're talking about?
Like, for instance,
reasonable,
for me,
just like minimal stuff we've got to do.
Exactly. And it's like, I'm blind, I need a reader. Okay, I'll get you anyone to be a reader. Actually, that's not going to work. You're going to have someone that can read for me, that actually can skim for me, can actually able to, like, they're my eyes. You can't just bring in, so things like that people don't understand. They just want to approach it from a compliance perspective.
All right, so let's take the next chapter into technology as an enabler for disabilities.
Yes.
That's going to be changing things a lot, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Tell me about what you know about that or what your thoughts are. I mean, because obviously it's a wide range of disabilities, right? So there's so many different technologies and applications.
So there's a couple of things.
Yeah.
One, it can definitely change the world into a better place, and it has to some degree. Like, it has facilitated a lot of different types of independence. Like, for me as a blind person, I use my voiceover on my phone. I use so I'm able to call an Uber and take an Uber, all these different things. But as long as on the other side, when people are developing apps, they're developing it in an accessible way that can interact with a screen reader. So which means that, yes, technology can be a solution for a lot of things, as long as developers are thinking about the disability accessibility lens from the get-go. That's number one. As long as also we're addressing the bias that can come, that bias data that is implemented sometimes in developing AI. What do I mean that?
Yeah, please.
So
help me out with that.
A lot of companies, when they're using the first platform that they use for recruiting and hiring and interviewing people, they use this, an AI software. It eliminates a lot of persons with disabilities because we don't have the typical body language and typical way of looking. So, when we do a video interview through AI, it actually eliminates a lot of people with disabilities. So there's bias data that's really impacting how AI is being developed. Hence
the bias, right? Because the people who are developing it aren't thinking about it.
And then the third is we need to start talking more about neuro rights. What do I mean? Like, there's these new technologies like Neuralink and other things that.
I was going to go there next, right?
Yeah. So, who are the first testers? Yeah. Who are going to be the first testers, and we're going to be applying on this is people with disabilities. Are we thinking about protecting the neuro rights and protecting them? There hasn't been that much conversations around this.
What do you mean by that?
So for instance, like Neuralink, it is going to get access to your personal neuro data, right?
So the privacy of
that, yeah. And if we are not developing the right neuro rights to protect and have the right protection for people,
right,
it can be really, really scary.
Yeah. And boy, that's across the board, isn't it, with everything?
And if AI is not developed through the Center of Disability Accessibility, it will leave us behind. It will further marginalize us. It will further enhance that gap. Like a lot of things, like when I travel and everything, I go into a hotel, for instance, and everything is screen touch and everything is so fancy and high tech. It's not accessible. They're not, but they can easily make it accessible. Easily.
How?
But they're not thinking about it. Voice over, like almost like the Siri, Alexa, enabling all these different things. It's easy.
Yeah, just voice interface.
Yeah. Right. But like, I can't use a lot of hotel elevators on my own. I can't use a lot of room.
Here we go. Take us into, you've just got out of the cab.
Yeah.
You're downtown somewhere.
Yes.
Pick one of 50 countries.
Yeah.
Give us your experience. Like, what is it when you get out? I mean, my God, you got a curb there. I mean, I know Hannah's amazing.
Yeah.
And you're amazing the way I've seen you move around. I mean, we'll talk at some point. I think we'll get it next. This is when I fell in love with Sara. Because I ride a bike. And I said, what do you mean you ride a bike? I love this woman.
Just riding. I mean, it's so funny. I mean, if I was on my own, what I mean with Hannah, things are much easier. If I'm on my own and let's say I get out of an Uber, a lot of times Uber drivers or cab drivers don't drop you off in front of the right address. And that's always a challenge. Then I have to make sure, are you sure I'm in front of this address, right? And that doesn't happen. Hannah can give us a million examples of this happening to me where I just get off and I'm not in the right location.
All by yourself.
And then, yes. And then
I want the listeners to take that in, because this is the actual beauty of courage and, what I think is part of what makes you so amazing and strong, because the things that we just take for granted, I can't imagine getting into an Uber blindfolded. I mean, Jesus, Sarah, I just got scared. I've gotten out of many Ubers in cities. If I had to do that blindfolded, It would not be pretty. Oh my God. So yeah, just the basic thing is like, did you
I
really
mean,
bring me to the right address?
even actually one time I had an Uber
Wow.
experience where when the Uber driver found out my destination was super long, they was like, I'm not gonna take you there. I was like, no, you're gonna take me there. Like, I'm not gonna get out in the middle of the street. Anyway, so like you can find, so I get out, then I ask probably random strangers if I'm hearing them walk by, hello, like, you know, and then I would ask them, hey, can you help me get to this door? And then from there, like, it's a lot of asking people's support from point A to point B. I think I wish there was more innovation around GPS apps for the blind that are really good. There aren't. I think there could be much more innovation around this. People say, well, can you innovate? There's smart canes. Again, there hasn't been developed something that's readily and easily accessible for people. Like, I would love if I'm walking down the street, whatever I'm passing on my phone, it says passing the TVS.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the door.
Yeah.
Passing whatever. Here's the whatever.
Exactly.
And that would make life easy.
That's coming.
I mean, if people are innovating around that.
Gotta be. Well, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Seriously, because that, I mean, look, let's talk numbers. If it's 16% of the population, then there are different applications of those business solutions.
Yeah.
And every time I've got some background in tech, but I'm the business guy. So I'd always say to the tech guys, that's easy. And I get this look like, okay.
I mean, to be honest,
it
is. I think this could, if people put focus on it. Yeah.
What's the big deal? I mean, just tell me, because we're already doing a whole 3D world.
Yeah.
Right, that we've been mapping for a long time.
Like these meta glasses and these whatever glasses.
We won't talk about Josh on our team with his meta glasses, but he has those as well. They're brand new. So now everybody's looking to say, is that light flashing on the side because I might be on film?
Because there's these glasses, I think, what are they called? Or whatever. You have to buy data minutes, and then what happens is you call a person, and why do we need you call a person to your glasses and then they tell you what's around you? I mean, we should have AI strong enough and high tech enough to be able to do this without.
Well, I believe it's coming, and we'll keep our eyes open for those types of innovations.
Eyes open.
And if you, okay. Love it. What was that joke you told me off camera? That was hilarious.
Josh is like, if I leave or something, like, I won't notice what feels like.
Yeah. So Sara says, so our camera, Josh is helping out with the camera today, and Josh says, you guys won't mind if I just leave. And Sara says, what did you say?
I don't think I wouldn't notice if you left.
Yeah, I wouldn't notice if you left. And I'm thinking, oh, that's a little cruel. And then I went, oh, wait a minute, I get it. So I'm glad we got that back on camera, because that's beautiful. Oh my gosh. All right, let's do this. Let's go into what you are doing now, and how we can all help support you to be able to really look. Oh, I'm not supposed to ask this. I don't care. How old are you?
I am 35.
Oh my God, beautiful.
No, I mean, you can ask.
Well, I do these things, and everybody's like,
I do the same thing. Sana will tell you sometimes the embarrassing stories I've done.
Off camera.
Yes, off camera.
Okay. So the question I have for you is, where are we really going with this, and what can we do to support you? You're only 35. There is so much impact you're going to make on this world, and all of our listeners and us want to support that, not because we're pitying you.
Exactly.
It's because, holy crap, like, let's lift this woman up as high as we can, so we can create some serious impact out there.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Yeah.
So I think going back to kind of the initial narrative lens, which is, how do we really create a space where everyone's seen, heard, and valued? And I think that's a common thread throughout my entire life and purpose and work. And that goes to all of us, right? In most spaces, people are not always comfortable being their authentic self. They're not always comfortable sharing their authentic voice. And we also do project our own assumptions and narratives on others. That's the reality of human being. So what we've done is, Hannah and I have launched the In the Dark methodology. It's an experience that we bring forward to leaders, companies, organizations, where we help them create authentic space for difficult conversation. So what do I mean by that? We blindfold people before they enter the room. We tell them you cannot say your name, where you're from, what work and educational background, because those are 4 things we tend to anchor ourselves in. We guide them, we put them into groups, we facilitate an 1.5 hour long experience session. And through this experience, people open up, share so much more than they wouldn't have shared otherwise, because they cannot see body language, facial expressions. And we use that to facilitate difficult conversation, to drive more innovation around a certain problem, to develop more constructive policies and more innovative products and services.
Wow.
So that's what we do. That's in the dark methodology. And it's literally, I want every single person, when they enter the room, they are able to really bring their full potential to the space.
There is nothing more important than people living their authenticity.
I agree.
And their purpose, as you know, we all know. And
so
that is such a cool. So we're going to get to do that tomorrow.
Yeah,
I can't wait. I think there's so again, we're at EarthX 2025, and I'll tell you what, there's so much demand already. We've got an application, so we're going to cut it off because unless we can get a bigger room for you. But you know, it's interesting because as I've been explaining it to people, the cool thing about it is people get it quickly.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, okay, so you're going to strip me of some of my comfort level.
Yep.
So we can break down some of the barriers, or as the shamans call it, domestication. And that will provide me an experience that will help me connect better, right?
Yeah.
Is that?
Oh, I love that, Hannah. You should take that down. That was really good. I like that.
Okay, I'm hired.
I like this. No, but it's so true. Exactly. It helps us connect better. It helps us have difficult conversations that we're not sometimes comfortable having. It helps us bring more of our innovation forward. Companies, you know, the only way they thrive and grow and sustain is through the creativity of their employees, and how many are comfortable really bringing their creative side.
And the huge business of companies, you know, going so far out of the way to, like, you know, take people on, I don't know, these outdoor adventures that cost tons of money, and you got to bus them there.
Yeah.
It's a full day thing. I mean, you can come in to an I'm doing good, aren't I? You can come in to an organization and be able to provide this at an incredibly cost-effective solution that's probably going to be, you know, a lot lower than what it would take to bring everybody to a place, and be a lot more depth and meaningful. Right?
Yep. And you're so right. And we've done this everywhere in the world for all kinds of sectors, companies, backgrounds, and it's the same outcome. And that's the beautiful part, because humans are humans.
It's consistent.
It is. It is.
Okay, because we like to have so much fun. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Tell me a really funny story about what happened with somebody. You knew I would have to do that.
We were in Iraq. The way we got to Iraq was actually, we took a Mil Air from Jordan to the military base in Baghdad. And
Mil Air means military airline.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
And then from Baghdad, we took a helicopter to the embassy compound. And as soon as we landed, we got out, and the DCM, the Deputy Chief of Mission, and the embassy were like, oh, we have a meeting. We have to go directly to this meeting with a leader of one of the coalition. I'm not going to say who, whatever, but, like, you know, it was like, and we were still in our travel clothes. We were not, you know, so we literally hopped on in the motorcade, and off we go. And we get to his home, which was like a home/museum, which is interesting. We sit around, and he's sitting like, we're sitting like this, and then you have like the entire,
like straight across from each other,
like
much?
Or
angle like
that.
Okay.
My entire team on this side and his entire team on this side, and then I did the first, you know, inappropriate thing. I had my legs crossed, and in that culture, you're not supposed to.
Don't do that.
So what happens is you hear whispers, and then it gets to Hannah. I didn't know what was happening, and Hannah's sitting far, and she had to like walk over, bend down, whisper, uncross your legs. It's inappropriate. And I'm like, oops. And I'm like, and I looked at him and I just smiled. And then I was like, okay, well, that's something I learned. And then he takes us to a lunch, to his massive lunch feast. The whole table was filled. He was sitting across, his whole team on this side and my team. And I was just curious.
How many people about? Just it's.
How many people?
Would
you say like 20?
Okay, that's awesome. Yep.
And then I was just curious. I leaned down to Hannah and I started asking, whisper, how old is he? And when I start whispering, the whole room goes quiet and they hear me saying, how old is he? And then he hears it and he smiles. And I'm like, okay. And then 5 minutes later, I'm like, but Hannah, I really want to know how old is he?
And Hannah says, uncross your legs.
Or there's a Georgian one, which I'll tell that off the record because that was inappropriate.
Okay, cut. Nice.
But we have a lot of those kind of fun experiences, and it's authentic. Like, people don't get offended because we're just being ourselves.
And that's what you carry so well in the world, is just that true authenticity.
Yeah.
Of who you are, and it just shines, and that's the thing that attracted me to you right away as a friend. So I think tomorrow we're going to have probably 35, just because of the room size. I think we're going to have to cut it off, but when I go back to, once again, about just how fabulous, so let me take it from my perspective. I've worked, as you know, with hundreds and hundreds of people through transition crisis, and the work I do just in giving back. And the transition and crisis, which I call my third season in my earlier book, is really just, if we, they can be very painful, but they wake us up, and it just creates an opportunity for us to be able to see the world in a different way, and then move closer to our purpose and our authenticity. Yeah. And so what I see, and I'm going to be able to experience it tomorrow, but what it feels like to me is you're like simulating a safe third season with people, where you're stripping something, so there's a level of uncomfortable. Is this?
And to be honest, the discomfort, yes, you're stripping away a lot of things. There's a lot of constraint of not seeing, not engaging, not knowing. That's very uncomfortable, but that leads to vulnerability. That leads to a safe space, actually. It leads to a holding environment that people feel like they can actually really open up. So the constraints actually leads to freedom of oneself, which is really beautiful.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I can't wait to experience it.
I'm so excited.
But, okay, so just say that again, because I think that's the most, God, that was so perfect the way you said that. Now I'm going to quiz you. Say it exactly the same, please, Sarah, right now.
No, okay. Like, what did I say?
No, it was good. But it's how the discomfort opens to creates vulnerability, and that vulnerability does what?
Yeah. So it is a very uncomfortable setting, because we're stripping away people's their lens of sight. We're stripping away a lot of things, other things that can engage and discuss and talk about. We're stripping away, they don't know anything about the room, anything about how the room looks like, who they're sitting with. These constraints, which is uncomfortable, but it leads to vulnerability, it leads to a holding environment where people feel safe, and actually leads to freedom. It really leads to people becoming more free of being their true self. It's really powerful. Yeah.
And like any type of practice, the mastery is in facilitation. Right. And, sometimes there's all these kind of trendy things that people do. But if people have experienced that in their life, it really is much less about the process and as much about the facilitator and how you hold that energy. Now, I shouldn't say it. It's the framework of the process is critical, but the implementation from the facilitation, in my experience, makes all the difference in the world. And so as you bring this out into the world, I hope that you're able to really scale your organization.
I hope so too,
and build it significantly, because I think every single company that actually cares about their employees, and I mean that, really needs to experience your work.
I agree. And the scale is a really good question, a really good point.
So what are you going to do once you start? Because you're going to be so busy. Maybe you won't be doing 50 countries in 3 years, but maybe you can keep the travel down a little bit and do it more regionally. Or maybe you like the travel.
Maybe it will be a different type of travel, but it's a good point. Like, how do you scale this? We want to scale this.
Because you're going to be ridiculously successful. So I just, because everybody really needs to experience it. And as I said, the economics align.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, do you want to take everybody like bungee jumping or whatever is the newest thing in the corporate world today? Or can we can do it right in the organization itself?
Exactly. Yeah. We're hoping that we scale through bringing on other facilitators. We license. We're thinking about a lot of different models, but we want to make sure whoever does carry forward these experiences brings the right energy, the right approach, the right. Also, we call it curiosity through a lens of compassion. I think it's really important.
Beautiful.
All these things, yeah. So.
And I know Sara very well, and I know that there was no way you would have anybody doing this that wasn't completely aligned and trained well. Just FYI.
High expectations.
Yes, I think so. Am I close?
Yes, Anna would definitely.
Anna, listen, I'm going to embarrass Hannah now. Can you come on camera with us? Come on, yes. Before we have the rest of the team come up here,
yes,
I wanted to ask you guys, and I want Hannah to say this as well, is what is one thing that you want to say, especially from your lens of what you've seen? Because you've been with the amazing Sara through all of this stuff, and you guys are so close, and you have literally a different vision, right, of the experience. What do you have to say about what you've learned and what people should take away from your gift of being able to be around this amazing woman and her gift of obviously having you?
Well, I mean, I'm going to flatter her and embarrass her a little bit.
So good. I like it.
One of my favorite things is that I'm not going to say who and in what context, but Sara, when she was special advisor, she was known throughout the department to be a mover and shaker. I mean, truly, to the point where she was called a force of nature at all times. And I really think it's...
I like that nickname, by the way.
Right, the force of nature. That could be her calling card.
I like it.
And I truly believe that a lot of people don't understand the power of just being yourself. And I see it every day through Sara being just herself in spaces, how it lends to people gravitating towards her, to wanting to take some of that force of nature magic. But it's in everyone. And I think people underestimate how much they can change the world. And, knowing Sara before she was special advisor and after she's special advisor, she's the same person. She hasn't changed. And she was someone who held an amazing position, a powerful position, and met amazing people and powerful people. And they were also changed by her. And, we met when we were 5.
Yeah, we met each other.
When you were 5?
I couldn't have told you when we were 5 years old that she would be who she is today. Wow. But I think it is in
Well,
everyone.
You still had your physical sight.
Yeah,
too,
she knew me before I was born.
I knew her before she was born. Yeah.
But I do want to say I've been able to do and I've been able to be my authentic self because I have had an amazing partner in crime. And that's because of Hannah, to be honest. Like I think she created that safety net and that space to be more vulnerable and open, like all that kind of stuff. So it wouldn't, any of this would have happened without her. So I just want to say, like, we work
very well together. We read each other's minds.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, after this, you're probably finishing sentences all the time, right?
I'm now sad on Nasri sometimes.
I literally sometimes I'll try to sign her name or something. It'll be her first name, my last name. And that's very confusing.
Yeah, that is so special what you said. It's why I'm here on this earth.
Yeah.
It's because I think it is the most important thing and simple thing, but the most important thing that we've missed.
Yeah.
Right? Is everybody's here. Imagine a world, right, where we greet people and the first instinct is, oh my God, you're special. How can I help you live it? And you can, who are you? Who are you, right?
Something she asks all the time.
Do you? Of course.
Yeah. So usually the first question, and it's always, in the department.
And how do you ask the question? So tell our listeners, because people can practice this and really take what you do out into the world.
So in general, if I'm walking anywhere, I'll be like, the first question will be like, tell me your story. And then, but if I'm at work and I know it's a work setting, people love to talk about their work. Tell me about who you are outside of work. And I specify outside of work. Who are you? And that was always in every single meeting I've had at work. I would ask that question. It would really,
including to presidents and ministers, and it was always hilarious.
That's fabulous. Who are you outside of work, and what's your story? Which is a lot better than what I used to do.
I want to hear this too.
I would say I still kind of do it, but I still do it. But I'll tell you, big surprise, right? So I'll tell you the story. I was in a high-end little sushi place in Manhattan, and I'm sitting down, and it's like one of these. I was walking to speak at a conference, and I wanted to just have some time walking. So I said, okay, let me manifest a sushi place. And so there was one there. It was a little crazier, higher end than I was really kind of expecting or wanting. So picture this: there's like 6 stools in the whole place, right? One of those places. It's beautiful. It's amazing sushi, by the way. So I'm sitting there, and there's a gentleman 2 seats over, very proper looking gentleman. Of course, we're 2 people in the restaurant. I'm going to say hi. So I look over the guy, and I said, I didn't hit him with it right away. I said hi, and then I said, "What's your passion?" So he replies to me in this perfect British accent, which I can't do. And he says, "Well, now, isn't that quite a heavy question for lunch?" So I think your approach is better. I've learned something.
Laura's question. First, hi. Second, what's your passion?
Let's get down to it.
And why are you here on Earth?
Exactly. Well, there we go. All right. So, my gosh. And, listen, the other thing is laughter, right? We could have the ultimate challenge of like trying to be together for 2 minutes without laughing. I don't think we could make it.
No.
Laughter is so important, and lightness, right?
Yeah, it is.
Tell me about, you laugh so much. Tell me why.
I've never been asked that question. I don't know. It's just part of, I think, I mean, I think
you need to answer without laughing.
I don't know. I think it's part of who we are. And I think, I have both a serious side and a fun side at the same time. I'm a woman of contradictions, to be honest. So I can be very silly and goosey and enjoy life while still being very serious. I don't know. Why do I laugh? Why do you laugh?
I laugh oftentimes because you've done something hilarious without knowing that it's hilarious. And it's always fun.
That's beautiful.
She's unintentionally funny, which is the best kind of funny.
I think I know that one.
One time we were sitting on stage of a panel, and they sometimes make you like describe what you're wearing or how you look like. So to explain for blind people, that's not my thing. But anyway, so they're like, okay, so describe yourself. And I was really annoyed that day because I had 2 pimples. And so I was like describing, I was like, I think I'm wearing white and black and whatever, but my main thing today is I have 2 pimples on my face.
Did not have to point that out. That was one thing that you could have not pointed out.
But it was just really what was on my mind. Anyways.
But that's the beauty of you right there. Not the pimples on your face. And you don't have any today, but I'm sure you know that.
I don't have any.
You look beautiful.
I would have, yeah.
But no, look, that is the beauty of authenticity. That's what you carry in the world. So in that little joke, there were so many lessons that were for the people who were awake and ready to hear them, right? That got from that.
Yeah.
And I think that's, from my point of view, and knowing you as a dear friend, Hannah, is that is, that's your gift, is the lightness and laughter with that seriousness.
Yeah. So true.
And we need more of that in the world.
Yeah.
How much fun was this?
This was so much fun.
Oh, thank you.
I know we
Lawrence.
wanted a team shot. Is that not?
Yeah. Should we do that live now, or bring you guys up live and behind the camera? Okay.
There we go.
Ready?
Oops.
1,
There we go.
2, 3. There you go.
Oh,
can we do a group hug?
Okay,
it won't be the same without one.
Oh.